Okay, this video is going to need some backstory. Between 2013 and 2018, I made YouTube videos and quickly became the best filmmaker in my province and arguably the country, which is Canada, for my age group. In 2018, that's when I was graduating high school and I had this thought of like, okay, I'm pretty good at this stuff, but I don't want to be this starving filmmaker, and that's when SMMA just started slapping me in the face. It was perfect.
What I'm about to do in the next 30 days could be life-changing.
It all seemed pretty simple at the time. Sell leads to local businesses and charge them ridiculous retainers, 2K a month, 5K a month, 10K a month. And like many of you, I got sucked into the money and I lost track of what I was really passionate about, which was creative content. Okay, so over the past 6 months, rather accidentally, I've been selling content to local businesses, but not the content that you're thinking of. There will always be a place for these production companies that make these premium 30-second commercials that are like intensely visual and just high production quality and just extremely professional. My thing is though, what's working going into 2020, into this whole nother decade that is converting large audiences to buy your product? What content is doing that? And look, if you're trying to influence audiences to buy things, it's not these fancy commercials that are working anymore. They're just not. If you look at the data year after year, these types of commercials are going down in effectiveness. Today, in the decade that we live in, which is 2020, not 1990, not 2000, not 2010, 2020, people need to feel connected to a brand personally, on a personal level, in order to want to buy from them. And I don't think there's any debate on the best way to connect with an audience on a personal level is through social media, right? Because it's a social platform, it's one-on-one, it's supposed to be personal. That's why it was created. But brands, they haven't caught on yet. They're using social media as a platform to sell their products, and they're using it almost like as this secondary website. They're missing the entire personal branding aspect of it. Personal brands sell more on Instagram and Facebook than these other brands. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nike, whatever. They do terribly on social media because people don't want to follow a business that is just going to sell them 24/7. People want to follow a person or maybe a team of people that showcases authenticity and personality. So the real question is, what content do you make to personally connect with your audience to grow your brand? That's the question. The content that I sell to businesses isn't this fluffy, I'm gonna make your brand look so professional with my 8K camera bullshit, because in my experience, you can build an extremely profitable brand that connects with an audience by filming everything through an iPhone. And media companies, they don't want to tell you that because they want to charge a premium for their expensive ass equipment that they're using. And marketing companies, they fall into two categories. I used to work at some of the top marketing companies here in Vancouver, and based on my experience of what I saw on these established, brick and mortar marketing companies, is that 90% of them will focus on your brand presentation to make it look aesthetic and pretty, and will increase what your brand looks like with no real marketing result behind that.
We'll make your brand look pretty, but we won't do when it comes to building an audience and selling to that audience.
And then the other 10% of marketing companies are these guys in the social media marketing agency space who focus solely on providing direct leads to your business and disregard the whole brand altogether. I'm not dumb and oblivious here to the fact that organic traffic on pages is pretty much dead at this point. But what if you could make content that drives loyalty statistically from 94% of your audience and combine that with paid traffic? It's pretty much a game changer.
Sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yes, thank you. You will get rich quick. We all will.
So what content dominates these social platforms to create the most loyal and engaged audiences? Let's look at the top of the food chain when it comes to monetizing in the business space. Okay, we've got Gary Vee, we've got Grant Cardone, we've got Brad Lee. Just as an example, these guys are business owners making $500 million a year in their business. They're not dumb, they're not vain. This is not just an ego boost for them. They're using social media as a way to make them more money. And guess what? They're making more money than 99% of these other businesses and other personal brands on Instagram. So I looked at this and I started analyzing what are the similarities between the content that they are making. And pretty much they're making the exact same type of content to influence audiences to buy their stuff. Number one is that they're making value-driven topics. They are focusing on the consumer when it comes to value instead of on themselves. It's weird how people haven't caught on to this yet. They think social media, if they're a business, is all about them, but really it's about the consumer. They're the ones that are landing on your page. You need to focus on them and give them value right off the bat, which is what all these guys do. Simply said, all they're doing is answering questions with their opinion. Their opinion is what matters here, because people follow them for their opinion. Maybe not the facts or the statistics, but they care about them as a personality.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care. I don't care, I don't care. What'd you say? I just want to know what you said. What did you say? I don't care.
Second thing here is that they're all transparent and authentic. They cut the script. They don't follow any script. They just simply film conversations. And in that way, the authenticity of their personality comes through. Google put out a stat that said 94% of consumers will showcase loyalty to a brand that offers complete transparency. Talk about the vulnerable side. Maybe talk about the things in your life that aren't so great. Or maybe last year, the failures that you had.
I have watched more Netflix in the last 30 days than I've watched in the last 3 years. I have slept in and missed more workouts in the last 30 days than I missed in the previous 12 months.
And people will respect that because they can see you're not this perfect individual person. You have your faults and you've shared your faults with us. So your truths are even more truthful. They're even more impactful. And the last thing these guys do is something I like to call smart content, which is essentially just repurposing content over platforms. What they'll do a lot of the time is film a long form piece of content like a conversation that spans an hour or 30 minutes or something like that. And they'll post that on YouTube because YouTube works well for long form pieces of content. But then they'll break up the golden nuggets of that video, the best 1 minute to 3 minute parts, and they'll repurpose that on Instagram and on Facebook where it showcases more value because people are there for short form content. That way they're not spending 12 hours making that 30-second fancy commercial. They're spending 1 hour making 15 pieces of content that they can distribute over YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So when people talk about quality and quantity, they're getting both here. They're getting quality because it's transparent and it's value driven, and they're getting quantity because they're getting 15 plus videos, they're getting 20 videos or 30 videos from 1 hour of content. Now that's top of the chain when it comes to like monetizing platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Let's look at the top of the food chain when it comes to monetizing the YouTube space. And what this is basically YouTubers. These are the guys that you see that are famous, like Logan Paul and Shane Dawson and all these guys. So what is the content that they're making? One word: entertainment. That is all they are doing. They are strictly here to entertain an audience while maybe providing value in the process. And if you're still not convinced about this type of content agency, I'm gonna throw up some stats that I found on some random industry that I pulled up just to showcase some of these points. So the industry I pulled up as an example is dealerships, okay? So 92% of car buyers, they research online before they buy a vehicle. That's probably expected, so almost all of them, right? And how long are they spending researching? Well, 14 hours is the average car buyer's research time online during their search. Okay, very interesting. Where are they spending these 14 hours? 58% of consumers visit a brand's social media page before visiting their website, okay? So just under 60% are going to your social media page before they even check out your website to see if they're trying to buy anything, okay? And 73% of consumers claim they have been influenced by a brand's social media presence when making a purchasing decision. If consumers in this industry are spending 14 hours researching online and just under 60% are visiting your social media and are being influenced by it, what content should be featured to best influence a purchasing decision? Now, that question of what content is best honestly depends industry to industry. If you're doing real estate, you're marketing a personal brand. You're marketing an individual, a person. But if you're doing something like a dealership, you're now marketing cars. You're marketing a product. So that is industry dependent. You just have to, as the content creator, research statistically what is the best content that converts for this industry. And literally, it takes an hour, 2 hours of research to build up your service offering. This is needed, okay? And the reason why I might seem more like amped up on this video than past videos is because I'm actually passionate about content and making this for people, and I know a lot about it. If you're not passionate about selling leads, which is frankly kind of boring and bland in my opinion, and very hard to stand out because it's almost like a dime a dozen to these businesses, and you would rather explore something that is more creative and entertaining and implores more, you know, creativity in your brain, then I think this model would work 10 times more effectively for you because, yo,
what's up?
okay, one sec. I want to coin the term now of what this would be called, which I'm gonna label it content conversion marketing.
Okay.
It's content conversion marketing. It's not just content marketing, because content marketing might not work for a business, but we're actually converting people with the content that we're making for these businesses, okay? So, boom. Okay, so this is what I've been doing, guys, for the past couple of months. I hope that kind of clears the air and explains things. If this sounds like something that you might be interested in, just shoot me out a DM. And I will talk to you guys all later. Peace.